Let's get right into it. Number 5. The supervolcano mood swing. Picture the ground beneath you casually deciding it's had enough of being solid. Not an earthquake, not a cute little lava fountain for tourists with cameras. I'm talking about a supervolcano, the geological equivalent of Earth rage quitting, something like Yellowstone caldera, just sitting there in Wyoming like, don't mind me, while holding enough explosive power to rewrite human history. Here's the fun part, we are technically overdue. Not your bus is late overdue, more like this thing has a pattern and we're past the average overdue. That doesn't mean it's erupting tomorrow. It just means Earth doesn't use Google Calendar. If one of these goes off, ash shoots into the stratosphere. Not smoke, ash. Tiny, sharp particles that block sunlight like the planet just pulled down blackout curtains. Crops fail, temperatures drop, supply chains collapse faster than your Wi-Fi during a storm. It's called a volcanic winter, which sounds cozy until you realize it starves millions. Your brain loves to think humans are invincible because we have smartphones and oat milk, but agriculture? It depends on stable sunlight and predictable seasons. Remove either, and civilization starts sweating immediately. The wild part is that supervolcanoes have nearly ended species before. Humanity survives on a surprisingly fragile balance of nothing too dramatic happening underground. That's it. That's the deal. Basically, the crust of the Earth is like a lid on a boiling pot, and we're the pasta hoping it doesn't rattle too hard. Number 4. The Ice Age switch. You like climate stability. Your entire food system likes climate stability. Your bones like not being inside a glacier. But Earth has this fun habit of flipping between warm and ice cold every few tens of thousands of years. And no, it doesn't send a warning text. Back during the last glacial maximum, giant ice sheets covered huge parts of North America and Europe. Imagine New York City under a mountain of ice thicker than skyscrapers. Not metaphorically, literally. This isn't science fiction, it's orbital mechanics. Tiny changes in Earth's tilt and orbit called Milankovitch cycles slowly adjust how sunlight hits the planet. A few degrees here, a little wobble there, and suddenly glaciers start auditioning for a comeback tour. Human civilization? It's only about 10,000 years old. That's suspiciously close to the end of the last ice age. In other words, agriculture was born in a freakishly stable climate window. We didn't conquer nature. We showed up during a quiet period. Now imagine a cooling event layered on top of modern infrastructure. Growing seasons shrink. Rain patterns shift. Entire breadbaskets fail. People migrate. Borders tense up. History gets loud. We tend to think extinction requires an asteroid with dramatic music, but sometimes it's just colder summers, a few failed harvests, gradual stress. Human survival isn't about being the strongest species, it's about being lucky enough to evolve during a calm patch in a very moody climate system. Earth doesn't need to explode, it just needs to nudge the thermostat. Number 3. The genetic bottleneck gamble. Around 70,000 years ago, humanity almost became a limited edition species. There's a theory that a massive eruption from Lake Toba in modern-day Indonesia triggered a volcanic winter so intense that the global human population may have dropped to just a few thousand individuals. Not millions, not hundreds of thousands. A small-town population trying to keep the entire species alive. That's what scientists call a genetic bottleneck. It's basically evolution's version of putting all your eggs in one extremely fragile basket. When a population shrinks that dramatically, genetic diversity shrinks with it, and diversity is your biological insurance policy. It's what lets some people survive plagues, adapt to new climates, resist weird diseases, and tolerate lactose like a champion. Without diversity, one bad virus or environmental shift can hit everyone the same way. No genetic plot armor, no backup plan. The wild thing? We're all walking proof that a tiny group of humans made it through. Every single person alive today is a descendant of that narrow survival corridor. That's not poetic. That's math. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Bottlenecks can happen again. Pandemics, climate shifts, global catastrophes. If enough people die in a short window, humanity doesn't just lose numbers, it loses options. Your DNA is like a deck of cards passed down through time. A bottleneck reshuffles the deck and throws most of it into the fire. Whatever cards remain, that's the future of the species. We survived once because a small group got lucky. Extinction is just bad luck with better timing. Number 2. The asteroid coin flip. Space looks calm. It's not. It's just very, very big. About 66 million years ago, a rock roughly 10 kilometers wide slammed into what is now Mexico, forming the Chicxulub crater. The dinosaurs didn't get a warning. No push notification, just sudden atmospheric chaos. Dust filled the sky, sunlight vanished, food chains collapsed, roughly 75% of species disappeared. And here we are, confidently scheduling meetings next Tuesday. Asteroids large enough to cause global devastation don't hit often. That's the comforting part. The uncomfortable part, not often, is not the same as never. NASA tracks near-Earth objects constantly. Most are harmless. Some are keep an eye on that, and every once in a while, Something passes closer than anyone expected, reminding us that planetary defense is basically cosmic dodgeball. The thin line here is timing. If a large asteroid hits an ocean, you get mega tsunamis. If it hits land, you get firestorms, shockwaves, and climate disruption. Civilization isn't built for months of darkness and crop failure. What makes this terrifyingly ironic is that dinosaurs ruled Earth for 160 million years. We've had civilization for about 10,000. On the geological timeline, we're a pilot episode. Human survival doesn't just depend on intelligence or technology. It depends on space rocks missing us, repeatedly. Basically, we are living in the gap between impacts. Number 1. The human factor. Here's the twist. After all the volcanoes, ice sheets, genetic bottlenecks, and space rocks, the most unpredictable extinction threat is the species currently watching this video. Us. Congratulations. Unlike asteroids, we don't need orbital mechanics. Unlike supervolcanoes, we don't need pressure buildup under the crust. We have opposable thumbs and strong opinions. That's more than enough. Consider nuclear weapons. Since 1945, humanity has possessed the ability to erase cities in minutes. The bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki showed that modern civilization can vaporize itself with horrifying efficiency, and today's arsenals are exponentially more powerful. Now layer in climate change, biodiversity collapse, engineered pathogens, artificial intelligence misalignment, all products of human innovation. The same brain that invented antibiotics also invented mutually assured destruction. That's range. Psychologically, we're wired for short-term survival. Immediate threats get attention. Slow, creeping global risks, those get debated on social media while the planet quietly adjusts. Your brain evolved to outrun predators, not to interpret atmospheric CO2 charts. It's fantastic at spotting a tiger. It's terrible at processing abstract, long-term systemic collapse. And here's the thin line. Our intelligence is both shield and sword. It allows us to detect asteroids, monitor supervolcanoes, model climate systems, and develop vaccines at record speed. But it also amplifies mistakes globally in real time. One miscalculation, one escalation, one cascading system failure. Extinction doesn't always require an external villain. Sometimes it's a species smart enough to split the atom but still emotionally reactive enough to argue about parking spots. The irony? Humanity's greatest survival advantage is cooperation. Large-scale collaboration built agriculture, cities, medicine, and global communication. If we lean into that, we thrive. If we lean into division and impulsive power plays well. The line between survival and extinction isn't a dramatic cliff edge. It's a tightrope. And we're the ones holding the balancing pole. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.